Red Dust Part 5, The Return, Chapter 17, Alien vs. Alien.
Now that the artificial intelligence aboard the Oshur Kai was secure from outside security threats, thanks to Grandpa's help, Grandpa contacted Earth and Grandma contacted Mars to learn what was going on. Both AI used extremely strong military-grade encryption to implement virtual private networks, or end-to-end VPNs, with their respected destination nodes. From the communication that ensued, Grandpa and Grandma learned how the cloaked spaceship, disguised as a rogue planet, came to orbit alongside Earth after first heading towards Mars, in the present dilemma that the two planets now experienced. Grandpa immediately called a meeting of the executive officers of the Oshur Kai. Present were the Martian's AI, Ashiec-tuen, also known as Grandma, Mei Chin, and Commander Elijah Nadir from the original Unity Ascendant crew, and Kaloreth Tunish of the Martian vessel Oshur Kai, along with his second-in-command, Jarella Yin. Grandpa recounted to Mei Chin and the rest of the human Martian group that the alien ship, Ashiec-tuen Kai, came within the solar system, headed in a collision course to Mars, disguised as a rogue planet. In order to prevent a catastrophic collision of the rogue planet with Mars, Earth bombarded the cloaked rogue planet with atomics in hopes of diverting the planet out of its course and out into space. That action may have been misinterpreted by the aliens. Grandpa further explained that after the bombs exploded on the surface of the rogue planet, it changed course and took up a parallel orbit with Earth. At that point, it selectively exerted gravity in order to change the course of the Moon into a figure-8 path around both the Earth and the rogue planet. Earth realized from these actions that it wasn't a rogue planet, but a disguised spaceship. The actions clearly communicated that the aliens had power over Earth and Mars, but to what end they would wield their power was unclear. Grandma interjected that the alien ship was the Ashiec-tuen Kai. May responded that their last encounter with the Oshur Kai taught humanity that aliens were peaceful beings and could be trusted to benefit mankind. She pointed out that if the Oshur Kai could destroy Earth, but instead had exercised restraint, it was also a communication of sorts, one that said, "We mean you no harm." Grandpa was not convinced that the new aliens were all that peaceful. There were plenty of explanations for keeping Earth and Mars intact that did not have happy endings. He informed May and Commander Kaloreth that with his help, Grandma had implemented cybersecurity measures as a precaution, and that all communications with Mars and Earth were encrypted. In the meantime, the Ashiec-tuen Kai AI was attempting to communicate with Zarefekti, Orpha, Oshur Kai's AI, only to find that it could not. Every try at quantum communication was met with a blank emptiness that the aliens had never before experienced. And to make matters worse, it appeared that the Oshur Kai was communicating with both Earth and Mars using gibberish, signals that had no decipherable meaning in either primitive radio frequencies or applied quantum mechanics. No known language or message communication existed to explain this anomaly. Commander Archella Vorn of the Ashiec-tuen Kai frowned, or the closest thing her kind had to frowning. Indeed, her entire crew were perplexed beyond measure, and a lengthy discussion ensued to explore possible explanations. This had never before happened in known galactic history. But this perplexity was completely understandable given their history. The Ashiec-tuen race existed in a complete cybersecurity void, in total absence of any awareness of cybersecurity. There had been no need. No species, no civilization, no individual ever acted outside their authorized parameters, ever. Everything was ordered. The stars, the galaxies, even subatomic particles behaved in complete order. Sure, it may appear chaotic from a faraway viewpoint, but upon close inspection, order was everywhere. It was as if the entire universe was hardwired to obey orders and to act only within established limits. The possibility that anyone or anything could act outside the laws of nature to violate their established limits, and that such behavior would naturally lead to the creation of something called cybersecurity, did not even come up during the discussion. This possibility was far beyond their imagination. Instead, conjectures regarding technical malfunctions and time-related system degradation were bantered among the crew, but no conjecture seemed plausible given the data. That is, if there had been such malfunctions, etc., how could the Oshur Kai successfully navigate both normal and folded space to disappear and then reappear as it obviously had just now done? Nevertheless, there was one thing that was crystal clear to this group aboard the second alien vessel, the Ashiec-tuen Kai, and that was they needed to be very, very careful about their next step. Coincidentally, that was exactly the same conclusion that Machin, Kalorith Tuinish, and the crew aboard the Oshur Kai came to, that they needed to be very, very careful about their next step.